What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the Fearless Nick YouTube channel, and in today's video I'll be going through my AFL 2023 round 4 tips and predictions, and obviously as well as that, like we always do, we're going to be going back over my round 3 tips from last week and seeing how I went. If you guys haven't already, remember to leave a like, share and subscribe to the channel if you are new. I'm trying to hit 400 subs by Gab Around, and I'm on track to do so. I think I'm only 10 or so away, so if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, then now is your time to do so. Now I probably should answer the obvious question, Nick, why are you filming this on the Sunday? You know, not even all the games are finished yet for the round. Well, I'm actually going away for majority of the week. This coming week, I won't get back until the Thursday, about 2 hours before the first game starts, so I'm not going to have time to film and edit this video. So I guess I'll just go over the games that have already happened from this week, and yeah, just say which games I've actually tipped for today that haven't actually occurred yet. So looking back on my round 3 tips for this week, still going on. Obviously the Sunday matches haven't been played yet, so yeah, I'll just go over the games that have been played so far, and we'll just exclude the last 3 games and just show you who I've tipped. So so far in round 3, I've got a pretty good score of 2 out of 9 for this week, which is not very good at all, to be honest. Yeah, it's probably looking like my worst round so far this week coming. It started off on the Thursday night between the Bulldogs and the Lions. I tipped the Lions quite comfortably, and just like every other round so far this year, I've had rotten luck when it comes to these Thursday night matches. The Bulldogs actually got the job done to get their first win of season 2023. Moving on to the Friday night match between Collingwood and Richmond. Now, obviously, as a Richmond fan, I did tip Richmond to win this game. To be fair, though, if I wasn't a Richmond fan, I would have tipped Collingwood. Even in the back of my mind, I just knew that Collingwood were probably going to win this match just because, you know, the amount of injuries we had. And to be honest, Collingwood just smashed us in that first half. To be honest, the game should have been over at halftime. You know, Collingwood had that many opportunities in front of goal. The fact that it was only 14 points at the end of the match is quite remarkable. So I will take it, even though it probably should have been a lot more. So yeah, got that tip incorrect there between the Pies and the Tigers on the Friday night. Moving over to the Saturday matches now, I did do slightly better. The first game on the Saturday was between Hawthorn and North Melbourne, and in a bit of an upset, the Hawks got their first win of season 2023 as well, beating their former coach Alistair Clarkson with the Roos, but yeah, ultimately Hawthorn just too strong in that one, down in Tassie. And if I thought about it a little more, I probably should have tipped Hawthorn, considering it is in Tassie and they're quite a hard team to play there. So yeah, got that tip incorrect there between the Hawks and the Roos. The next game at Giant Stadium was between GWS and Carlton, and I got my first tip of the round correct there. I tipped the Blues successfully over the Giants, although it didn't look promising at one stage. The Giants could have very easily won that match. You know, I think they got in front at some point in the match, in the third or maybe even last quarter, I can't remember. But yeah, the Blues got the job done there by 10 points, just did what they needed to do in the end, the Blues. So yeah, got that tip correct. And then I tipped the Saints over the Bombers in the next match. Obviously, it was the Saints' 150-year anniversary, and the Saints got the job done by 18 points. So yeah, another correct tip there. Happy with that. Obviously, the next match was the showdown between Port Adelaide and the Crows. And another big upset, the Crows knocked off their crosstown rivals in the Power. The Crows got the job done by 31 points. Wow, oh wow. Yeah, definitely didn't expect that from the Crows. Then again, the likes of the Crows, you know, Isaac Rankin, Riley Philthorpe, just completely tore the Power's defence apart. And yeah, the Crows got their first win of season 2023 as well. And yeah, so far, that brings me to a total of 2 out of 9. So I'll go through the games that are still yet to be played as of when I'm recording this. Gold Coast v Geelong. I've tipped Geelong in that one. Hopefully Geelong can get their first win of the season, at least for my tip's sake. Although don't be surprised if Gold Coast win that match, to be honest, considering it is at Metricon. I've tipped the D's over the Swans. I know I tipped the Swans in my video last week, but I've ended up changing my tip to the D's. just because I feel like they're just going to be able to bounce back. And then in the final match of the round, it's the Western Derby between Freo and West Coast. I have tipped Freo in this one, just hoping that they can get the job done this time. Although at the moment, West Coast are arguably playing the better footy of the two. So don't be surprised if West Coast win that. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That was my round 3 tips that are some still yet to be played and some that are confirmed. So far, I've got 2 out of 9. Not looking too good. But anyways, let's move on to my round 4. So kicking it off with round 4, my round 4. Tips for this week. Kicking it off on the Thursday night. We have got the Lions taking on the Pies. This is a huge game, more so for Brisbane's sake, considering they did go down to the Bulldogs last week. And the Pies, they are in red hot form at the moment. The Pies, they are coming off 3 straight wins in a row. Against some alright opposition, to be honest. Geelong, Port Adelaide, and now Richmond. And currently look like a big threat for the flag at the moment. Just the way they're playing. You know, they could have won by a lot more against Richmond if it wasn't for their kicking. You know, it is at the Gabba. The Lions do often play great footy at the Gabba. Obviously, we saw against Melbourne. They torched them for 3 quarters. So I could see Brisbane winning. I've had rotten luck in these Thursday night matches. Tipping, so I really don't know who's going to win this one. You know, at the Gabba, it's hard to go past Brisbane, but it's hard to go past Collingwood as well. Like, that they've been playing so well, the Pies. Collingwood have got to lose one eventually. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to tip. I don't often tip Collingwood, but I might have to in this one. I think I'm going to have to tip Collingwood. Just the way they're playing at the moment, the Pies, it's really hard to go past. You know, the Lions, they've been unconvincing away from the Gabba, but this game is at the Gabba, so you never know what can happen with the Lions. Moving over to the Friday night match, and this is a Good Friday, obviously. It is between North Melbourne and Carlton. Now, if you had said to me a week ago who would win out of these two, I generally wouldn't be able to tell you because both teams were in great form, hadn't lost a game. But now coming into this, North Melbourne actually got their first loss of season 2023 last week to the Hawks. And then the Blues, it was unconvincing at stages, but they finally got the job done against the Giants after a bit of an arm wrestle. Look, I think Carlton are playing better footy at the moment. And I think they should be able to get on top of the Roos in this one, especially in the midfield. Even though North's midfield has been quite good so far this season, I think you just have to go with Carlton in this one. You know, as good as the Roos have been so far this season, I think just after the loss to Hawthorn, I've just lost a little bit of trust in them. And, you know, I think, you know, it's not out of the possibility that an upset could happen here. But, yeah, like I said, the Blues, I think they're just going to be a little bit too strong in this one. They've been playing somewhat better footy than the Roos as of late. And I think the Blues will get over the line here in this one. By not that big of a margin, actually. I'm going to say the Blues win this by 16 points. Moving over to the Adelaide Oval, we have got the Crows taking on the Dockers. Wowee, this is a great matchup, this one. Well, the Crows just got their first win of season 2023 against the Power this week, or yesterday as I'm recording this. And, well, the Dockers, they have not looked very good so far this season. As I'm recording this, they haven't played West Coast yet, so I'm not sure what to make of that game. It's at the Adelaide Oval, so I am really leaning towards the Crows in this match. The Dockers have not looked convincing so far this season. I have been backing in Freo so far this season, but I'm going to go with a bit of an upset in this one. I think the Crows at Adelaide Oval will get the job done here. Until I know the result of the West Coast Freo game, this tip might change if Freo get a really good win against West Coast. But so far, from what I've seen Adelaide last week, as long as they kick straight the Crows, they've got unlimited potential, this group. I think the Crows will get this one done in a somewhat narrow margin as well. I think the Crows will win this one by 8 points. Moving over now to the MCG. On this Saturday, we have got the Tigers taking on the Bulldogs. Look, I don't want to point to, you know, previous matches because they don't really mean anything at the end of the day, but we have had some really good performances against the Bulldogs the last couple of years. I think we've actually had a really good record against the Bulldogs. I remember last year we beat them convincingly. Even 2021 we beat them. So we've had a really, really good record against the Bulldogs. So I am confident we will win this game. I think just after last week, we need a response. We need to rally together. We'll have some players back. I think Dusty's coming back. I think Hopper's coming back. Moving down here to the second last Saturday match between the Saints and the Suns. And I'm gonna say this right now. I think the Saints will win this match. They are playing unbelievable football right now, the Saints under Ross Lyon. Even when they were challenged, the Saints against the Bombers, they were wanting to stand up. Well, they did stand up. They responded with the next few goals, which shows the maturity in that group and shows how strong they really, really are, the Saints. And I think they are a real chance to go, 4-0 here against the Suns, who haven't been great so far this season. As I'm recording this, they haven't played Geelong yet. The Suns as well have had a terrible record at Marvel Stadium. So I am going to be tipping the Saints in this one. I think they're just going to be too strong for the Suns in this game. I think, the Suns might take it up to them, and I think the Saints will win this one somewhat convincingly as well by 22 points. Moving down now to the final Saturday match between the Swans and the Power. Now, both these sides, the Power are not in a great form at the moment, just coming off a loss to the Crows. The Swans at the moment are taking on Melbourne at the time of recording this. And I think at the SCG, just at the moment, the Power just haven't been convincing. So, I think I'm going to go the Swans in this one. I just think they're just going to be too strong for the Power. If Buddy coming back into the side, we'll see how he goes against Melbourne. I think the Swans should be too strong at the SCG. I think the Power can win this if they play their best footy, but right now they're far from it. I'm going to be tipping the Swans in this match to win this one. I think they will be far too strong for the Power in this match, especially at the SCG. They're just playing unbelievable footy at the moment, the Swans. And I think they should beat up on the Power in this one by 29 points. Moving now on to the Sunday matches, we've got the Bombers taking on the Giants. The Giants, didn't look too bad against the Blues, actually. They really took it up to them. To be fair, though, the Blues probably should have won that game by a whole lot more. Whereas the Bombers, they looked very good, actually, against the Saints. They really took it up to them. Even when they were challenged, the Bombers, they weren't afraid to, take the game on and, challenge the Saints a little bit with their ball movement. But the Bombers were far from being a poor side on the night. They really showed what they can do when they flip the switch. Look, from what I've seen, I think the Bombers have been the stronger side so far in season 2023. The Giants have only got 1 win out of the 3 rounds. The Bombers have got 2 wins out of the 3 rounds. And especially at Marvel Stadium, I think the Bombers will win this match. They've been playing some really good footy, like I said, at the moment. And I think they will be too strong for the Giants in this one. Moving on now to the second last game of the round, we've got West Coast taking on Melbourne. The Eagles, the week before, got a really good win against the Giants, and obviously just went down to North Melbourne in round 1. The D's, to be fair, like I said, against Brisbane, they brought the margin back to 11 points. And I think the game against the Swans will be telling on how I view this match. And also, if you look at Melbourne's last few matches at Optus Stadium, they've been pretty good, to say the least. They have been outrageously good, in fact, at that ground. The D's, since the grand final in 2021, I don't think they've lost a game at Optus Stadium, which is quite telling. So I think the D's will uphold that record at Optus Stadium, and I think they should beat up on West Coast in this match. I think they will be too strong for the Eagles in this match, and I think they should be winning this one somewhat comfortably. I think the D's will win this one by 41 points. And the final game of the round is the classic Easter Monday matchup between Geelong and the Hawks. Now, it's for some reason, it's always close and exciting when these two sides play. And look, at the moment, considering the form, it could genuinely be another close and exciting match like we've seen the last couple of years. Geelong haven't played Gold Coast yet, so assuming they win that, then it makes for a more interesting match. And the Hawks, well, they got their first win of the season against North Melbourne last week. which was good for their sakes. You know, there was a lot of, you know, talk about were Hawthorn tanking this year, which I didn't believe to be true. I just thought, you know, they weren't really clicking together as a group. But right now, I think it's really hard to go past the Cats, even though they haven't played Gold Coast yet. And if they lose to Gold Coast, then there could be some serious problems down at Cardinia Park. Look, I think Hawthorn could definitely take it up to them. Like I said, this match is always close between these two sides. But I'm going to go Geelong to win this one. I think just barely. I think it'll be another close match. Geelong win this one by 8 points. So, yeah, those were my round 4 tips, ladies and gentlemen. Let's quickly go back over them. I've tipped Geelong to beat Hawthorn on Easter Monday. I've tipped the D's to beat the Eagles at Optus Stadium. I've tipped Essendon to beat GWS. I've tipped Sydney to beat Port Adelaide. I've tipped St Kilda to beat Gold Coast. I've tipped Richmond to beat the Bulldogs. My upset of the week, I've tipped Adelaide to beat Freo at Adelaide Oval. I just think the Crows might just get a bit of an edge at the ground, especially if Freo can't find a way to goal. I've tipped Carlton over North Melbourne on Good Friday. And on the Thursday night, even though I've had shocking luck with this fixture on the Thursday night, I've tipped Collingwood by 7 points over the Lions. I just think the Pies, even though it's at the Gabba, have just been playing better footy, and I think they'll just be too strong for the Lions. So yeah, those were my round 4 tips, ladies and gentlemen. But before we go, I just want to have a check on the comp. So if you haven't already, or you don't know, I do have a tipping comp. It's obviously called Fearless Nick Comp. I'll put the code to join and the link to the comp down below in the description and the pinned comment. I think I forgot to mention it in the intro. But yeah, go join this if you want a chance to win a shout out and maybe even a sub from myself if you have a channel. And you know, if you want to be part of this competition, like I said, click the link down below in the description and in the pinned comment. But yeah, this is the ladder after 2 and a bit rounds. Haven't fully completed round 3 yet. But as it stands, Darcy T is on top of the Fearless Nick ladder with a total of 15 correct tips so far this season. Marie T is also on 15 correct tips. Rick H, who's also in 3rd. So we've got a 3-way tie between the top 3 at the moment. So shout out to all these guys. And then also shout out to everyone else here. Saint Lai, 12, or Ben P, Christian, Shannon, Shilos, obviously myself, Maxi T, who's the reigning champ as it stands. He won last year, so yeah, not doing as well so far this year, but hopefully he can bounce back soon. And then Samuel D, who's sitting 10th at the moment and is on the bottom, unfortunately, but hopefully he can climb later on this season and get off the bottom. But yeah, that was my yeah, so if you haven't already, join the comp, link down below in the description, like I said. And yeah, that was my round 4 tips and my comp ladder. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Those were my tips and predictions for round 4 of the 2023 AFL season. Remember to leave a like, share, and subscribe if you did go on to enjoy today's video. Also, remember to join my tipping comp. It will be down below in the description and the pinned comment. Like I said, I forgot to mention it in the intro, but yeah, it will be there as always. Yeah, shout out to everyone in my tipping comp who has joined the tipping comp. Yeah, great to see so many faces in there. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to leave a like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, until next time, I'll see you in my next video. Cheers!